It's time to get into the news review segment where we get to have a conversation, bring some perspectives to some of the topical issues dominating the media space. This morning, I'm joined in studio by the editor of the Herald newspaper, Larry Dogbe, the Larry Dogbe. Good morning, boss.
The one and only. Good morning.
Good to have you. I also have the former member of parliament for Anyasotum, the Honorable Dixon Amwaku Kisi.
Adumako.
Adumako Kisi. I don't know why I keep saying Kusi.
Well, so it's Kissi.
Kissi.
When I'm talking to the white people, I say kiss with an I at the end. So it's Kissi.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Good morning, Honorable. Good to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the whites. This morning I'm taking you to the U.S.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Where the Ghana embassy has been shut down.
Yes.
Following some alleged corruption and corruption-related activities. We understand a gentleman, an IT officer with the embassy, had created some link that redirects applications to his personal tourism agency, if we can put it that way, and has been milking the system. So the Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has closed down the embassy to allow for investigations into these matters. You can also send us your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. We are very interactive. It's quite an engaging program. So send us your thoughts and your comments via the WhatsApp number. We're live on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on X, and we're on Instagram as well. Let us hear from you. Honorable, I'll start from you. Could we have embarked on these investigations without shutting down the embassy? Because life must still go on. There are persons who will still be seeking visas to travel to Ghana. Well,
first of all, thanks for having me. I don't know if it's a pink day today, but we'll take it that way. I'm happy to be here with Dogbe. The first thing that comes to mind, forgive me, is that I was hoping to hear from Okudzeto-Ablakwa in relation to the airline saga.
There's an airline saga?
Well, I mean, he was the one proffering solutions to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, with regards to his need to fly in private jets.
Oh, that.
And in fact, I'm stunned and surprised to hear from my minister, who I love dearly, to rather, as it is, sway us into the happenings in America with regards to the redirecting of, let me say, funds to personal account. So let me just, first of all, say that, one, I am an MPP person, and I personally don't see anything wrong with very high state officials using private means of travel when needed and when necessary in relation to their safety, wellness, and health when needed. But, you know, the way and manner that the current Foreign Affairs Minister spoke about the airline scenario under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I really am scandalized at this point in time for not hearing anything from him. And I'm not demanding for his resignation, but I think he needs to come and just tell Ghanaians that he's sorry that his party has done similar. And this is early days yet. I mean, this is, you know, I think the president himself started off with, quote unquote, supposedly his brother's private jet. Fair enough. When Okudzeto was speaking back then, he didn't qualify the source of the private jet. His point was that, you know, we shouldn't be using these means of travel. And that is my whole thing, that I'm hoping that he would address the nation with regards to that. Now, coming back to this issue, let me also add that our foreign affairs management of the Northern American aspect is quite poor. I've personally not been happy One with how the New Yorkers manage us. I've not been happy with Washington, D.C. I've had to do visa on arrival for most of the people that visit me because of the unfortunate cumbersomeness of this. And I have somebody visiting me, and I'm even now wondering what's going to happen with regards to the visa processing. So this disruption, I don't think is acceptable administratively. One, you're even putting the already bad state of affairs with regards to the American Ghana embassy, and then now this disruption will just mess people up. There are many Ghanaians who are now Americans by virtue of changing their status in America, who would want to come to Ghana this summer, and summer is usually a peak season for travels.
Yeah.
So I think the minister was inconsiderate administratively in taking this decision. I would have hoped that they could have, with some expertise in cybersecurity, with some expertise in internet banking, redirected this at the back end without necessarily closing down the embassy. And sometimes it takes a drastic reshuffle of the people. Interestingly, the embassy has had issues. I remember there was somebody who contracted with the embassy and took away a lot of money, about a decade ago, and the case has been in court for the life of.
What is the nature of contract?
I think he was the one issuing the visas, something like that in Washington D.C. And it turned out that when he issues that, he gives the state a certain portion, and that was one of the interesting conundrums there. But be it as it may, I think that on a personal note, the idea of even collecting people's American passports before you issue visas, we should do away with that. People do not trust our embassy, fortunately, well enough to even, give them their American passport. Because sometimes when you even call, a whole embassy, the response, sometimes people have to call the embassy so many times before they can get through. And that is not very acceptable for a country that we want to, uplift tourism, a country that we want to, expand our economy using tourists, coming in and leaving. So I think, and forgive me, Okuja Tablak, I really think that administratively this is an unfortunate setback. And I think that a lot of this could have been done at the back end. And I'm hoping that this is not to distract us from the airline issue that we were hoping to hear from him about. And I still think that I want to use this medium to encourage Honorable Okuja Tablak, who's a friend and a former colleague, to come out in the open and let us know, one, the airline issue, what's his stand on it, and that we are not calling for his resignation. I'm not calling for his resignation. But I just think that he should come and open up to Ghanaians and say that, when I was talking out of youthful exuberance, okay? And I didn't know that there'll be exogenous circumstances that would require my vice president or a high official within the ranks of the Mahama administration to ever have to fly a private jet. Fly in a private jet.
Well.
And as they all say, whether she danced, bathed, drank in the private jet, that one is none of our issues. But all of those things, all of those variables can happen in a private jet. So I think that...
But the defense minister has spoken and given us a brief on the state of Ghana's own jet, the presidential...
The current defense minister.
Yes.
So we should take his word as opposed to last administration's defense minister, who also spoke and said that at the time when the president of the republic, not the vice president, let me be clear here, the president of the republic's safety was a reason why they had to put aside Ghana's Air Force One, and you know, do a private jet. I mean, our defense minister also spoke. I remember, you know, he was the one who explained why the president, yes, the president had to use a private jet. So if it was not acceptable by Okudzato Ablakwa then, is it acceptable now? Because both positions are the same. Both are defense ministers. And it's not like during the NPP administration, our defense minister didn't talk. He spoke. But it fell on deaf ears. No. So what has changed? I'm demanding, you know, and listen, even my own party may not be happy with me saying that I'm not calling for his resignation, but I'm calling for him to come out and tell Ghanaians that he's sorry, or respectfully tell Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo that, you know what, Adodi, I think I'm taking a humble pie.
Very well.
And I'm sorry for lambasting you for flying on a private jet when it was necessary. And listen, let's be a bit, you know, I always say that some things are not luxury when you are in a certain position, you know. If I can explain to Ghanaians some of our needs during the prosecution of Ghanaian, you know, things that are Ghanaian. I mean, it reminds me of this young man who's now in Parliament and was screaming about sirens, and now that he's in Parliament, what's his name? He's A+.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, he was screaming about, you know, sirens and why do members of Parliament need it. It took him a week in Parliament to realize that you are needed at 4 programs, not your making, but people who depend on you, rely on you, think that you're passing through will make them happy and will make the event, you know, very good. And for that matter, he's in Awutu Senya-ish. Between there, I think it's Aguna, yes. Yeah. Between there, Swedro area, and Accra. A meeting here and there, same day. My goodness. If you don't have a motorcade plus the siren, it's going to be difficult. So I want to plead with Ghanaians that, one, we need to be a bit realistic. I mean, listen, a whole president of this entire country needing to fly out under some circumstances based on the number of countries he may have to go to and the liberty he needs to be able to attend, you know. And may I add that I was in India last year. The time difference, Maza, if you are the youngest guy, you may sleep because the time difference can work you, jet lag, okay? Yeah. So you might be in India where, you know, they are ahead of us. So when it's 1 midnight, it's like 6 a.m. there. And you arrive there and your body clock is, you're supposed to be naturally sleeping. Yeah. And you're in a meeting at 8 a.m. in India and it's like 2 a.m. in Ghana. I mean, listen, you know, these are the true circumstances sometimes our leaders find themselves in. So they might be seated, yes, in a 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. meeting, but Charlie, Ghana time is like 2 a.m. Naturally, your body has not even adjusted. And then you leave from there and you're in maybe Doha in about 6 hours where they are behind. And it's a whole complicated thing. So some of these things, our editors in this country or our media need to be a bit realistic instead of accusing people of all kinds of things. Well, you know?
Let me bring you in. Since you are an editor.
That's always straight bullets.
Did you catch it though?
Yeah, I did.
Right, what's your take on this one?
You know,
Honorable has succeeded in bringing in the private jet issue. So a quick take on that, and then we deal with our main issue, which happens to be with the US Embassy.
You know, I think apparently who procured the Fokker jet? I think it was Achampong.
Yes.
And then Rollins used it. Yeah. And then before Rollins left office, he had also procured the Gulfstream. And then, you know, the MPP took issue with it. I recall the late J.H. Mensah being at the forefront of that campaign, you know,
I mean,
saying
even members of parliament, Kakra, JHMS at some point
okay, so be at the forefront of it, that he had used the UN, you know, peacekeeping money that is supposed to go to the military for retooling and many other things to procure a jet like that for his personal comfort. They even went to the extent of saying that Rawlings had bought the jet for himself and that when he was leaving office, he was going to take it away. You know, all that, whatever. Now, President Kufuor comes and describes it, you know, in many terms. And not long after, that jet was sold because, according to them, it was unsuitable for presidential use. Now, President Kufuor then, you know, bought one, which is the present one. Okay, more like an improvement on Rawlings's, you know, Gulfstream. Yeah, and then President Mills, I think President Kufuor used it for some days, or either he didn't meet it even. But then President Mills used it, and then President Mahama continued. Now, if let's assume even President Kufuor used it, and then President Mills also used it, President Mahama also used it. For President Akufo-Addo to now come to office, and then goes to is it charter or which one? What's the appropriate word?
Well, it's a charter.
Okay, exactly. You know, from an European country, an outrageous, you know, amount that he was using, mostly on the, you know, left on the tarmac. As and when he wants to travel, that's what he uses. And I mean, we were giving all manner of explanations. He himself never faced anybody, but then you had the Minister of Defense coming out to tell us that, oh, you know, something like the excuse, you know, Honorable was giving.
The reason, not excuse.
Okay, all right, semantics. So the reason, in his words, the reason that he needed, you know, jet lag, body clock, all that, and then so according to Nitu, the president needed to bath. He needed to sleep. And from all that we saw, I mean, that was a complete luxury. There were beds, there were all manner of things in that, you know, jet that the president was flying. Tufor, why wasn't it reasonable, okay, and I'm choosing my words carefully, for President Akufo-Addo to come out and tell us that, you know something, I think that what we have is not suitable. So let's sell it and top up and acquire one that, you know, is good enough. So that when I'm traveling or when the president is traveling, he can have a lot of entourage. So, you know, the entourage could be large on that jet. Because one other excuse they gave was that, I mean, looking at the size, it couldn't take a number of people. So there should be an advance party and so on, and the number of people who would, his immediate, let's say, officials and so on, who will be on the jet, private jet with him. But the one we have now couldn't take that number of people. So he could easily have come out to say that, do you know something, what we have doesn't meet the requirements of that office.
Well, the exigencies of the time then, facing the economy and everything, have allowed him to procure sometimes,
no, but it's essential. Just give that and then allow us to assess it, okay, and buy into your reason. He didn't do a thing like that. He never for a day, at least I didn't hear him, I don't know whether you heard him,
gave us reason.
Gave us any reason. It was the defense minister who kept talking.
Well, he is the man appointed to the defense ministry, so perhaps he speaks to these matters.
And he condemned the jet. At the time they were doing that, the jet was, you know, somewhere in Europe undergoing refurbishment. Do you understand? So we could refurbish it without any reason. But we couldn't tell people that, do you know something, whatever it is that we are refurbishing, it doesn't meet our, you know, our requirement. So tell us that, and then leave it to us for a debate. Do you understand? Everything, you engage people. But you know, the presidency then was completely detached from people, from the realities of the country. They were not engaging anybody. They thought that, oh, listen, throwing that in, that, oh, the president couldn't bath. The president couldn't rest. The president couldn't do anything was a clever excuse that they could throw at us and for us to, you know, buy into it. No wonder the controversy that you know, that brought up. That the president couldn't bath. He needed to shower. He needed to freshen up. He needed to do
one out of many reasons given that we are centering on.
No, I mean, for you see, we are communicators.
Right.
Do you understand? Yeah. So whatever it is that you are communicating, okay, should I mean make a lot of sense. But if you just told us that the president couldn't bath, the president couldn't sleep, the president couldn't entertain himself on the way to wherever it is, please. I mean, people, no wonder it became a joke. Okay, that of something that people could laugh at. That the president is even bathing in the air. That when you are outside and then water sprinkles on you, you don't know whether it's raining or is the president who is bathing up there. You get what we needed to.
But is that not what it was meant to be? They did not give us more technical and practical reasons for Dominic Nitu.
Yes.
I mean, he was answering questions today regarding this same matter in Parliament.
The same thing that he did, and then even told us that the presidential jet was going through refurbishment. Yeah. Omani right now has also said, I mean, also, done same. So what that,
it's in a sorry state.
Thank you. Yeah. So what level of refurbishment went on? Then he came back, okay, and then the minister now. Is virtually repeating whatever exactly. Now this attempt to use the use of Ibrahim's jet, okay, as to whitewash President Akufo-Addo's, that outrageous expenditure. How many times did the president use that jet?
It was the cost
how
of
much
flying.
was exactly how much was it? Could we have topped up and then sold this one
to buy
a befitting one that our president could bath, that our president could sleep, that our president could entertain themselves and do any other thing? They could even party in the air. Could we have done that? How much went into it? That is what we. I mean, that was what Ghanaians were condemning.
And that's what stirred the controversy.
Exactly. I mean, Okudjato's claim as to all that. I mean, for me, it's immaterial. And in any case, this particular incident of using this jet for medical purposes. I mean, listen, the thing was an emergency.
Yeah.
We all heard about it.
Coming back.
No, I mean, I'm saying that being flown out there. Being flown out there. It was under emergency.
And so they did not make any.
Exactly. And there are instances. I'm coming. Yeah, there are instances where.
But you see, we the MPP, we're not necessarily opposed to a high official traveling by this means. The point is that the party, the current administration, were going berserk about it. So some of these popularist thinking or pronouncements are not very good for governance. That's my whole point. So the way he was doing Kadarian things, comradely things about this is what I'm talking about.
Larry.
Yeah. So
let's wrap up on this.
Yes. For me, I think that let's look at the bigger picture. I don't know what other arrangement went into her return as to why she had to use this. Maybe, whoever is in charge should come and tell us why she had to use it again on her way back. Did she come alone? Was there any medical, thing that was on board to facilitate her return and so on? Nobody knows. Okay. I mean, so we can go into all that.
We don't even know
exactly specific. I haven't spoken to the people, involved to know what exactly went on. Now to the U.S. Embassy matter. Yesterday I heard Kofi Tonto, who is an aide to Dr. Baumia, and had worked in the same embassy that has been shut down now. Okay, and he simply said that listen, he had investigated this particular man.
The gentleman.
I don't want to call him a gentleman. This particular guy, that's Fred Kwarteng.
Yeah.
And that Kwarteng had done a lot of things with the embassy to a point where he asked Kofi Tonto, his work at the embassy as information minister, officer. Some of his, his duties were commercialized by this Kwarteng. And he was making money on the side.
And nothing was done about it.
Wait. Now, then also the website matter. So he had cloned the website. So if it's .org, as for the embassy, he had created .net.
Okay.
And so you go to .org, and when you click on whatever visa requirements and other things, it takes you to direct you exactly. And that is where he was making the money. So things that you're supposed to, let's say the embassy was supposed to charge, let's say $250. The embassy ended up charging almost $500. And the bulk of that money was going to him. Now, another thing he did was the envelopes. So you could submit your visa and other things, let's say you, your wife, kids, and everybody. You submit one envelope with all your package in there. This gentleman would ask you to buy additional envelopes when eventually the visa is given you. So then whatever it is you submitted in one envelope, when it's coming back, it comes in 6 or 7 forms because it's a then individually he has created an individual what you call it package for each of the applicant. Exactly. So and he was making money out of that as well. Okay, so he had just commercialized the space for his own end. Now, mind you, he will he will confirm that most of these charges that go through the embassies and so on, Parliament is supposed to approve of those fees. Parliament is supposed to approve of those fees.
The ministry is supposed to present to Parliament.
Exactly. Exactly. And so what he was doing was illegal. Kofi said he investigated him. And while investigating, the gentleman comes to him and says that, oh, you know something, this thing that you are doing, it won't go anywhere. Yes. Oh, Kofi is, he spoke on Asempa FM. I have the video. Then he says, it won't go anywhere because you know what? Asimesi is involved. Asimesi's, son is involved, or Binting so and so is involved. And that most officials, and including even the people you are investigating me with, are part of whatever it is that I'm doing. And even went to the extent of, trying to bribe Kofi, offering him, making him an offer that he was going to make $10,000 every month if only he kept quiet.
Wow.
Kofi claimed that he investigated the matter and even submitted the report to his officials. Okay? But then nothing was done about it until he left and came back to Ghana to continue his work. Do you understand? So this thing has been on there all this while, with officials aware of it. Maybe the foreign minister then was aware of it, and then
But that's just conjecture. You don't know.
I said maybe. Listen, I said maybe.
But let's just be clear on that. Yeah.
That's why I use maybe. 2-4. Maybe the ambassador. Obviously, the ambassador can say that he was unaware of it.
I think the last ambassador was a female before that.
Yes, that's Hajia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So, all these reports were there. Now, if Kofi is a very, very, vociferous gentleman, he speaks his mind any day, any time, he will tell you. And so yesterday he was at pains as to the damage that this thing has caused.
Yeah.
And equally damaging, according to him, was the statement from the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Now, the issue I have with the minister is this. This is a very, 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 very damning thing. So you just don't go on your Facebook page, okay, and put a thing like that out there. Issue, an official statement.
And that is even why I say that he's just trying to move us away from the airline issue. So he should come and write about that. He should come public.
Larry,
so issue an official statement and sign, okay? You have, even if not,
PRO.
you can use your PR unit. And then sign an official statement explaining that this and this and this is what you found. And that it is being investigated further. Let it be under somebody's signature. Oh, sorry, let it carry, let it, wait. Exactly. And it becomes a government official. An official statement, a government communication.
He's not Donald Trump.
Yes, but putting it on your Facebook, I think that, then you open up yourself for some of this attack. Again, then people tend to believe that, if you notice, the attribution is not government. It's a okujeto. You get that thing.
Yeah.
And for me, that is the issue. However, he's telling us that, listen, an investigation was made. An audit was made, and that these were the findings of that audit. This is not the confidential thing. Put it out there. Let's all study it. Kofi could also release his, his investigation, what he knows about this. And then let's have this, guy face the full rigor of the law. But just throwing it out there, and then it's subject to political debate. And you could see that, the opposition is trying to take advantage of that. Oh, why would you have to shut down the embassy? So and so. But I'm told that in New York, there's also another embassy.
Yes.
So, I mean, people could go to New York. And
There's one website.
Okay.
For America.
Okay.
So, you either submit your passport to New York or Washington, D.C.
And you have the same services?
Same services.
So it means that the U.S. Diplomatic or consular, whatever, hasn't been totally shut down?
No, it has. By virtue of what he has done.
No, but he says the Washington. He didn't say that the Washington. He didn't
well,
say the New York one.
The website is for the entire America.
So yes. So,
if
the website
if
is
you're doing phone calls,
you can.
And this thing is systemic.
Yeah.
It's the whole America.
Yeah.
The phone calls will come to one line. There's one line.
Yeah. Okay.
So those who are within the tri-state,
Yeah.
and when we say the New Jersey, New York, Washington area, they can like drive to if they want.
Okay.
And let me add this. Kwame Nkrumah did well, except that we don't have a befitting office really in America. Both locations for me, I mean, personally, Times Square is fantastic for the New York office, but parking space very inconvenient for residents to use Manhattan.
And one of the embassy properties were sold. Was it the embassy proper, or it's a house owned by?
It was a house.
Okay.
It was a house.
Okay.
So I think that this sparks the debate.
Yeah.
In the future, Ghana needs to do something befitting for America, and even Germany. I mean, let me be just straight with you, because when your investors come to your embassy, it means a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives them that intro to Ghana. Though we have Doomsaw here, we don't have to be doing Doomsaw in America, and this is what Okujato Ablako has done. He's extended our pain and grief in Ghana to the Americans, and you want to have a free flow for investors. Listen, people are in America, they've never seen light off.
Yeah.
And this inconvenience of calling your embassy or an embassy to just facilitate a visa. I mean, and mind you, many Americans don't even need visas to travel, except for a few countries. And maybe Ghana has to reconsider our visa arrangement with America, so that we just have an open, and it will help us as a country. If people don't have to go through the cumbersome nature of getting a visa to Ghana, many more investors who know that, once you're an American, you can go to Ghana without a visa. Voila. I mean, who knows? It might shoot up our visits by 10%. And government makes a lot of money at the airport from taxes.
So, you see, I mean, that's a very good intervention. See, very often we hear reports about how much money that the U.S. Embassy is making here in Ghana.
Oh, yeah.
Through
Yesterday,
visa
I think
they've issued a statement like that. Okay. Then the U.K. Embassy, the Germans are a bit, very protective of all that information. But the others, they don't mind. They just throw it out there. And, shows us, I mean, I don't want to use the word desperation.
The quantum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The desperation to go there, and then the quantum of money that people are making out of that.
Yeah.
Listen, running embassy is like running your country outside.
Yeah.
So everything is deployed. So you have the cultural attaché there, you have the information guy there who reports directly to the Minister for Information.
Yeah.
The cultural guy is reporting to maybe
tourism,
and many others.
Trade.
The trade, exactly. You are bringing in investors and other things. But in our case, most of these embassies are virtually even non-existent. They only go there in name, and then fly the flag.
In fact, and their salaries don't come. And
they don't pay their salary.
And to sustain yourself in a foreign country, and the Ghanaian embassy, working conditions is quite bad.
Okay.
I must admit. In fact, not to say this on air, but I should say it. Many of them end up even working in the country to sustain their rental. Because if your rent delays in America, I mean, your landlord doesn't care. He doesn't give an effing,
so then that explains Kofi Tonto's thing that everybody in the embassy was involved, because then they needed to make money on the side to fund their activities.
So those things have to also be looked at carefully. Embassy staff need to be paid appropriate for country.
Right.
If you're in Israel, you need to be paid, enough to cater for yourself in Israel.
Are they not working? Because if we talked about the cultural thing, the visa application, processes and so on. Because if that private guy is making huge sums of money on this, then, I mean, how about the state of Ghana also?
I think that the mindset...
That making the money to be able to pay...
To run it, exactly. Because these guys are running, the US and others are making money.
The mindset, I think, of the administration is that when
administration?
I mean, the foreign affairs, is that when they've sent you to Canada, they've done you a favor. I'm just being as frank, and it's a very bullshit... mindset.
It's morning.
Sorry. This is ChannelOne. Sorry.
Come on.
Did I say that? Okay.
So speaking American language.
Maybe because we are talking,
Bro, let's wrap up.
Yeah. So in concluding, maybe the system needs to be looked at more carefully, and that our embassies across the globe, this is a time to pay serious attention. And I think that a proposal to certainly make entry to Ghana from America or UK visa-free might be the way to go. And we'll make the revenue through the flights. And I can assure Ghanaians that I think that if we allow Americans to come in without visa, the numbers will shoot up. And for that matter, Ghana still wins. And that might also give us leverage in terms of how we get visas to America or to UK. Because I really think that it is the way to go. If we've made it open to many African countries to come in, I mean, listen, now we can go to South Africa for 90 days without visa, and vice versa. I really think that this is something that Parliament may need to take serious consideration. And then to close, since Kwame Nkrumah, our ambassadorial facilities in the world have not had that level of facelift. I can admit that Oslo came, which we all know, but beyond Oslo, many of our existing...
Oslo came with a lot of controversy.
Well, I said Oslo came. Okay. Beyond Oslo, I really think that there should be a deliberate attention to our embassies, because I think that, listen, I mean, I was in Berlin, and when you see the Japan embassy, it tells you the country you're going to. And it speaks volumes. And as an investor, if your Japanese embassy staff are serious with you, you know that you're going to a serious country. But here you go to Berlin's Ghana embassy, not to pick on them. Nkoye.
I you were running from a container.
I mean, Mr. Nkoye. And it speaks volumes,
Right.
okay? So if you're an investor, I really think that your entry into the country is the embassy. And our relations, sometimes the way they even talk to people on the phone, I mean, it puts you off. You've been to a country, the culture is different. The culture is different.
Right.
I think there's a fantastic girl who displays the Indian accent, the African accent, and the British accent when they are dealing with a phone conversation, and the niceness and the way at which they deliver client services. Okay, and if we can't do it, maybe we have to broker. Unfortunately, there are many university students looking for work. And why should Ghana Embassy's phone line be off that we are out of working. My goodness, in this day and age where your services should be 24-hour. I mean, listen. To add injury to insults, California is several miles away, and all the West Coast people who want to come to Ghana, sometimes it's so inconvenient, and that they just throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And I can cite numerous experiences. I mean, as we speak now,
that's part of your return and all that. These are
even local Nairobi. I had a friend end up there, was coming to Ghana. She paid the embassy and still no response from the embassy. I mean, listen, this is Nairobi, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, some of these things.
Thank you.
So it's good that Okujato has brought this up. Though it's diversionary in tactics.
Thank you.
You know, I'm also. Oh, he's my friend, so I have to call him to order. You know, and I think that he's done fantastic diversionary tactics, but he should bring us a little bit of breakfast about the flight.
Very well.
Whether I want to know whether Jane, is it Jane?
Jane.
Had breakfast on this plane.
Let's
And what kind of breakfast she had, and how much breakfast on that jet cost. You know, this is Okujato, how he was talking. You know, he'll pencil
perhaps you should
everything.
also do your investigations and give us a proper breakdown. Then we can do a comparison of the cost involved.
In my friends, I ain't got time for that.
Thank you.
You understand?
Then let's leave it there. Thank you.
Don't say BS.
We're in Ghana, mind you, and he has been granted bail over Galamsey charges.
Yeah.
Yesterday, he attended upon an invitation from the police CID. And earlier we Saw Andy Apiakubi as his legal representative.
Yeah.
Then subsequently, Godfrey Yeboadame took over from Andy Apiakubi. He's supposed to report this morning or today.
Every day.
Yeah.
I mean,
and this is coming from a failed attempt to arrest him at his home last week.
Yeah.
So
a wrongful attempt to arrest. I mean, let me be very frank.
No,
but you
I
talk
believe
first.
there was a warrant there.
You go first.
So Larry, let me pick your take on this, and then of course going after high-profile persons in this fight against illegal mining. From all this, what we've been seeing is the Kwesiata and the Kofi news that have been picked up so far.
He's the biggest, fish yet in all this Galamsey fight and so on. Now, for me, the report I got was that he was being sought after over certain payments that went to him.
From Cocoa Board?
Yes, from Cocoa Board and so on. I mean, earlier his account had been frozen. Yeah. And so that's the back and forth. Now, when security people went to his house, then the report came up that
it was Galamsey related.
No, I mean the Galamsey bid didn't even come out until yesterday. Until yesterday when we got the confirmation that it's rather Galamsey that he's being sought after. Yeah. And so who were the people who went to his house? Was it the police that went to his house, or national security or BNI people who went to his house in Kumasi? Do you understand? Because all this while, everything, I mean, we didn't know that it was Galamsey until yesterday. You get it? Until yesterday when the notice came out. Now, what also came out was this, I saw something on the net posted by Ken Ashigbe, where he commended the police for starting this investigation, acting on their petition, as far as Galamsey was concerned. Exactly, was concerned, and that he was commending the police administration, the IGP in particular, for taking this bold initiative against Akunta mining, and said that others were also involved, so he should move beyond the Wontumi and deal with the NDC MP for Owin, as well as the NDC constituency chairman for Azim and Dunkwa, and so on, and that
so the coalition is naming names.
Yes, and that most of this thing is coming out of the Professor Frimpong Boateng report. This
right, and he's convener for the media coalition against
and he did this with and attached the police statement, the police CID statement on this matter. Now. For me, that opens up this whole debate that, it is rather a police investigation out of a petition submitted by Ken Ashigbe's group.
Right.
You get it, and that he had nothing directly to do with government.
Okay.
You
If
get
so,
the
then
thing.
who were the people that
Who went to
the house of
again? Then the thing is that he says he received a call to report to the police. Police station, to the police, and he gave them a day that he was to go there. But then, like you said, I mean, we heard that a certain group of security
Thugs.
people,
Thugs.
okay, those are your words. A certain, a certain group of security people went to his house, and according to them, they had according to him, they over 20 armed men. No, with 20 vehicles. If you're going to arrest one person, and then you are using 20 vehicles. But these 20 vehicles, the same thing was repeated in the Kumi case. So 20 has become, the number. And about 20 people came here, but, and so fully armed. For me, I feel that some of these things, the security establishment would have to be, constantly updating us. Because you don't want to give an impression of harassment. You get it? You don't want to give an indication of a repeat of what happened, what has been happening over the years, okay?
Yeah.
And then give an impression of you do me, I do you. Yeah. If there are genuine, cases, let's, deal with it. Wontumi is Akonta mining and their involvement and the destruction of forests and all those things and so on. I mean, it's been up here. President Akufo-Addo at the point in time had to even step in and said, clear the company. Frimpong Boateng, I think, has made mention of Akonta mining. We have discussed, Akonta mining on this platform on several occasions. So if eventually the police are moving in on him, carry the state, carry everybody along. Okay, and then we will all get to the bottom of it. Well, I mean, they've charged him. Today he's supposed to report to continue with the investigation. Let's hope that everything will go according to due process. If, he's found to have fallen, foul of the law, deal with him, and then to deter others from doing a similar thing. Yeah.
Right. Honorable, let me come to you on this one.
Yeah, so let me state that, one, I think there's a lack of cohesion amongst the security services with regards to making sure that they are on top of their game in terms of communication. There's a huge lag between the security services and the media, and I say that with the greatest of respect, that whether they like it or not, to allay our fears as citizens in this country, they need to communicate and communicate well. And as you can tell, it doesn't make sense that for Wontumi, his key point was that he was dealing with state officials, and state officials knew where he lived. State officials were expecting him like on Monday, and for him to then have another department. So it seems like there's a disjointment between the, let me say, NIB or BNI and Ghana Police Service. So he had conversation with Ghana Police Service in total through his lawyers. I mean, he made that clear about a future date and meeting, and the fact that he's not going anywhere. This is where he lives in Ghana, and he won't run away. Right. And for that matter, he was expecting to be in, police custody on Monday, only for him to have some raiders or people who did not really identify themselves well and had not also checked with the police service what they had going on. So I think that clearly the security services and the police have to communicate. And let me also add that personally, I think that we're dealing with people's hard-earned reputation, and some of these things can be very damaging to them. Listen, all jokes aside, Chairman Wontumi certainly has foreign investors, okay? And when they invest in the country, they invest for the young men who he employs, okay, which also goes to the benefit of the state, because as he stands there as a businessman, who wanted to buy Chelsea, I think.
That's a good one.
I think that, we need to be mindful of how it looks in the international domain.
Yeah.
His investors might think that, this guy has problems with the state, and may withdraw their investment. So, in summary, as they always say, innocent until proven guilty, and people have rights and need to be respected. And listen, with him and his wife and children at home, and this Rambo style entry can be very debilitating. And for all you know, if they had even just gone through his lawyers, he would have walked into whether BNI or whatever, answered his questions and gone home without all the noise. Right. Is it that they want to use, this approach to scare people? I mean, I don't know what they are trying to gain. And let me also add that the kind of investigation they really need to do to be able to convict people, that is where they should spend their energies. Okay? What I mean by that is that if it's the Lands Commission related issues, let us cite that his tracks were here on such a given day. You have pictures to prove, and also to tie his tracks to him as an uncontaminated thing. I mean, let your T's be crossed and your I's be dotted. And then when you go in for the person, everybody will say that, you are using the right approach. And let me add that in many jurisdictions, if the apprehension is not done well, you can lose your case. I mean, the state can lose its case. You understand? When you don't have enough or appropriate evidence, or let me add that if you even have appropriate evidence, how you go into the person's house to take the person out and arrest him can even let you lose your case. Because if you have the law on your side, in delivering justice, it has to be also delivered in a very legal way.
Yeah.
A judge cannot just see you on the street and then say, go to jail. No, it doesn't work that way. There's a process. So if the process is tampered with, there's a reason why the FBI can investigate somebody for 10 years before they arrest you. There's a reason, because if they don't have substantive evidence and they know that they take you to court and you'll be let go, they won't, and as you can see, it almost appears that they are in a haste to arrest the man rather than putting in effort to have thorough investigative work which would warrant his arrest. And I'm being and I know it won't end at Wontumi. Not to bring us back to this Kumi Adenta issue, but I mean, Kumi, I know, doesn't have even a bullet in his house, and to go there. I know Kumi.
I know Kumi as well, but you can't make that conclusion.
And my point is the way and manner they went in armed. I mean, come on, for crying out loud, you understand? And that need to do professional work is very important.
I saw the video. I saw a video of this gun, wielding.
And in fact, I am so peeved about the fact that they wield AK-47s. I mean, listen.
But you see, I think that let me say this.
So episode,
in a few seconds.
Just briefly.
I mean, what is this?
See, is there a case where the MPP has put its members in a certain state that as soon as you hear that you are being requested for an investigation into something, quickly they jump on phone and then start, calling people, storm here, do this, do that. That came up in the Kumi case. The same, and in that case, if you had the general secretary make,
Facebook
yes, in a Facebook post.
It wasn't in response to an invitation.
Yeah.
It was in response to a raid on his home.
Oh, I'm coming. Then the same thing happened in the case of see, the rate, you can call it anything. We have something we call speech art.
Yeah.
Speech art is just something, an advertiser will call labeling.
Yeah.
So the person comes and then your choice of words will determine what exactly it is. Yeah. So you are calling it a raid. These people, the security people are saying, we were there to invite him to come with us.
With AK-47.
Okay, good. Do you understand? Sometimes they will call you on phone. I've reported myself to the BNI office.
And let me add that many of my colleagues have already gone
there
and come
exactly.
without events.
Sure. But then the list of the approach, a certain group of people have been put into a certain mode or mode that as soon as the people come, just say, oh, there's a raid. They are here, 20 cars. They have stormed my house. They are molesting people.
So
party people, mass up, do this, do that. If you know the house, be at the house. If you don't go, if you can't be at the house and you are around Kaokudi, storm the BNI office.
Sometimes they feel that more eyewitness will let them act in a very professional way.
Very well.
Oh.
Let's take a break here.
Okay.
Let's take a break here. When we come back, the police has issued a statement regarding the meeting with Wontumi yesterday. I'll read it out and then we can make progress on the show. This is Breakfast Daily here on ChannelOne Television. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on ChannelOne TV. We're having the news review segment and we're having conversations regarding some topical issues. I want to say a special good morning to Elikem Koto, a Deputy National Organizer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC. Elikem, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, my brother. Very unusual of me.
Yes.
I had to also become a victim of traffic today, so I apologize to you all and also to our cherished viewers.
Very well. We've made some progress, but I'll come to you and give you a take on what has been done so far. But Larry,
yes, I was saying that. See, we can't build a system, where we are not ready to subject ourselves to the laws that we promulgate. Yeah. Do you understand? Yeah. So this attitude of mass up. Listen, if you have done nothing wrong. Or if I have done nothing wrong, I wouldn't have to call my mother to come to the police station or to wherever to come in. Unless, of course, there's bail. And I think she's the best person to come and bail me. But this inciting people, storm there, General Secretary is talking, party person, organizer is talking, this other person is talking, that, Mohammed's government is out there harassing people. Listen, we have called ourselves apostles of rule of law. Okay, we have said that we are believers, of democracy and so on. We have proclaimed probity, accountability. We have also said that we are ready to subject ourselves to all the things of, transparency. Public purse, I'll protect it. So and so, I won't take it away. All that. If there is corruption or that, whatever, a sense of it, for want of a better word, we should be ready to subject ourselves to the laws.
Well.
Do you understand? Justice, must be seen to be done. And this thing where the list of things, mass up. List of things, we are being harassed. Yeah. List of things, and then there's a narrative, 20 vehicles. There's a narrative, AK-47. There's a narrative, tax, 10 motorbikes, so and so and so, that and that. I mean, see, you took up appointment in institutions. Do you understand? And there is, accountability being demanded from you. See, I think that MPP, with the defeat that you guys went through,
really,
that massive defeat, well, unless of course you didn't take part, but what the party would have to do to revive itself is to say that, do you know something? Listen, wherever it is that issues are suspected of you, subject yourself to it. Party people, stay back. Let's, honorable, I did whatever. I'm facing, let him face the law. However, we'll be monitoring to see whether due process is being carried through.
But they need morale.
Morale from where?
The youth need morale. So I mean, from a
Morale for revival.
From a leadership standpoint, let me commend. I will come to you shortly. I'm now the host.
You're taking my job. So
Sorry. I don't have a bald head yet.
You're in the process.
So there's only one thing. Afenyomakin showed up respectfully as the leader of the minority, and to help arrange for the release of Kumi. Likewise, Godfred Odame, who now literally represents the MPP on many of our incoming cases.
He's everywhere.
Well, he works with MTN, so the key thing is that I think that the party is in a low moment, and some of these people, if you don't stick your neck out for them, listen, not to remind us, but when a supposed reverend religious man was arrested under our party's regime, under our regime, at Nima police station, the response was not good. And we think that we lost that man of God due to the response. So maybe the party has learned to now make sure that if any...
You arrested Agrada. What came out of that?
Now she's not Agrada, I beg you.
She's what? Evangelist.
Something like that.
Evangelist.
So I think that the morale is important. We can't take it for granted. Supposing they come to me tomorrow, I would love to hear arousal of some youth fighting for Dr. Kisi. Granted, I don't think I have those issues. Fortunately, in government, I didn't have access to anything, so I'm not on any list. I will not be on any list. I have nothing like that. I was quite broke in government. So I don't have any of those 50 million type accounts.
So your non-appointment is a saving grace?
To an extent.
Okay.
To an extent.
You are grateful.
So, I mean, as it stands now, I can speak boldly without fear.
Hold your head up high.
But morale is important. And I would only plead with you. I mean, listen, you're not being power.
So it's a morale booster.
Absolutely. And our youth organizers know that if there's issue and you don't wake up and be there, Masa, and some of these guys, they are going up for another election, you better show face. if you don't show face, you'll be in trouble.
Very honorable, thank you.
So it's all
part of the whole thing,
orchestrated, contrived, for a certain effect.
You understand the game.
Oh man, Charlie.
Let me read the police statement and then we hear from Comrade. It's on the police letterhead, Ghana Police CID, Criminal Investigations Department. It's dated 26th May 2025. Press release titled Mr. Bernard Ekwibu-Esiako reports to police. Now, following an invitation by the Director General of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, Mr. Bernard Ekwibu-Esiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, reported at the CID headquarters today, that's in reference to yesterday, Monday, the 26th of May 2025, at midday to assist with investigations. He was accompanied by a team of lawyers led by former Attorney General Mr. Godfred Odame. He was cautioned on the following alleged allegations. 1. Undertaking mining operations without a license. 2. Pollution of water bodies. 3. Entering a forest reserve without authorization. Mr. Ekwibu-Esiako cooperated very well with the police during the course of the investigation, after which he gave his statement to the police and was granted bail to report to police at 3 p.m. tomorrow. That's today, Tuesday, 27th May 2025. Further development will be communicated to the general public. Signed, Joseph Benefo Dakwa, Superintendent of Police, Head of Public Affairs Unit, CID. So, Comrade, let me come to you. We've dealt with the visa scam in the Ghana Embassy in the U.S., and then we've dealt with Chairman Wontumi.
Diversionary tactics.
Honorable things is just diversionary tactics by the Honorable Kuyeto Ablakwa from the private jet matter. I don't know what you make of it, but briefly your thoughts on the visa scam and then Chairman Wontumi.
Thank you once again. And
was that a scam?
I want to.
Wow.
Was that a scam?
No. If they are getting the, yes, of course, you are being scammed out of your money. You are paying more than you're supposed to pay, right?
I mean, let's choose our words. I think, yeah. I
Yeah,
think-
but you're
anyway.
being scammed to pay more than you're supposed to pay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're less a
yeah.
scam.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to use this morning to greet one Professor
For me, I would have called
Martin.
it sorry.
Scandal?
Unapproved fees.
But it's a scandal.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
it
a
is.
scandal,
It
but
is.
yeah, he mentions come. So,
I want to greet Professor Martin Otin Abibio, who's chair of the Forestry Commission's board, and the entire team.
what's an Oblegon?
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to greet you all as well. I think it is just justified to rather even commend Honorable Ablakwa for taking a step to nip whatever it is in the bud immediately before it blows out of proportion. People may have different views on what they think should be the appropriate approach, either based on interests, expertise, or political convenience. But at the moment, there can only be one way or one approach to resolving the matter, which he is privy to or in the capacity to apply. In fact, even if he had taken no action, we would have still commented. If he had taken another action to have just taken the gentleman in question, suspended, etc., there would have still been comments.
Yeah.
So what matters most is for us to see what will happen after all this. And mind you, I am sure you and I seated here are aware that it may not be only the U.S. Embassy.
Yeah.
I mean, we said it.
I do not want to indict any embassy or any mission yet, but I am even aware of people who have called, giving out names, that there's this guy at the embassy there, he takes 150 for expedite action, but we are aware it reflects 100 or so, amongst other things.
On the receipt.
This has opened the Pandora box probably now for people to even gain confidence, to reach out to the foreign ministry and say, look, please look here as well too. Look at that man too. I have always said as a young man that, look, any act of corruption being perpetrated anywhere is a denial of an opportunity to somebody who could be my grandfather, my grandmother, relative, or even my children's future husband or wife. Because you just cannot tell. And so when we condemn these things, we must condemn it and look at the act which we are talking about, rather than the political convenience or the interest that we think we want to serve. So if he thinks, and for all you care to know, he's only put out a snippet of the information. There could be a whole cartel and other things. There may not be the need to put all of that out, because that would again even be washing our entire dirty linen in public, even though already that is how it looks like. But imagine you make it known that, 55% of the staff there were corrupt. What message signal are you sending to the international community? But if because of an individual, you take such a strong action, you are rather communicating to them that we don't take lightly any act of corruption in our foreign missions. And so I would want to commend him, and I believe, knowing him for who he is, he will do a just job to ensure that the gentleman, I think Fred Kwachi also, I'm told, Kwatin, and all others who are related are brought to book.
Right.
Yes. Then with reference to Chairman Wontumi, I was personally involved in that exercise at Summer Boy.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I want to, on that note, commend two people, especially the president for sanctioning that, and then the land minister for carrying it out. And it was a covert operation that was so successful. And I recall as early as 5 a.m., we had already gotten there, and people had also gotten wind of our presence. And we're now suddenly moving excavators from the bushes. And where we were was the only route through which you would bring your excavator. And then the Chinese, I think 8 of them and 39 locals, weapons were on them, equipment, and in fact, car parts were, it was as if it was even a fitting shop. They did fuel tanks were there, everything was there. It was a whole thing. And they wrote Akonta mining on the building.
You have pictures?
But, yes, I have pictures. I can still present all of them.
Just so viewers are clear, you are with the Forestry Commission now.
Yes, I'm with the Forestry Commission now as the Deputy CEO.
Okay.
You see. And so I think that the leadership of the NPP is failing. if they have not already failed. And before I come to that, this man here is one of the fine gentlemen. The first time I heard and saw him, I knew that he would not be appreciated by his party.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm being frank. I'm sorry if it looks. Yeah, and that was.
I've come close to saying that.
I've been a bit watching you from afar. Your facility. I've just been quiet, and I knew that. And you know, so
you've just given me a shot.
No, yeah, and so I'm sad, but don't be surprised. You were not even considered for appointment.
Yeah.
You are too fine to be one of those who will do the things they are doing. Yes.
Oh.
You get it. You see, their leadership has failed, or they have failed. The people. They have led the NPP into an embarrassing defeat. Now, these same people who misled them into a defeat think that they must still hold on to power and be seen to be relevant. And so at the slightest thing, they are screaming, hey, mass up here. Hey, go here. Hey, we will not tolerate this. But you were doing worse than this. You did much worse than that. And they have become somehow very reckless in commentary. And you don't find leadership in whatever they do. It may not sit conveniently with anyone what I am saying, but the truth is that there's a certain scramble for relevance now. Everybody feels there's a vacuum. Let me now be the star boy. If in Tim Forjo, if it's Vincent Assefuah, if it's whoever, everybody wants to find something to do to be relevant and seen as the new Sami Jemfi of the opposition. The new Malik Basintari.
Really?
I think that's the benchmark.
Yes, that is the benchmark.
That's the standard.
Yes. You get my point. It is sad, but it is up to the MPP themselves.
I so approve.
Yes, you see, it is up to the MPP members to sit back and ask themselves, one, who led us here? The people in charge are the ones who still led us here. Are they fit for purpose to be the ones to lead us again to the next battle?
The whole Michael Quick committee has done that work and presented its report.
The things we have heard about that report, I do not want to act the way they did, where they were gesticulating things from a report they had not seen. I do not. But I know that
always page what?
Page something.
116.
Yeah.
Page 116.
You get it.
Everything
But it is so sad that at the slightest thing now, they want to rather lash onto straws instead of sitting back to demonstrate that you are indeed apostles of democracy as you have proclaimed. Then let due process be allowed to go through. So far, what wrong has been done? If they are inviting or they are going to somebody's residence and there's a need for warrant, but even people were, even the Attorney General at the time was working with military men. They were wielding AK-47. So what is wrong? I even have a problem with our entire security, where you see persons being protected or even around high-profile people,
and their arrangement hasn't changed.
Yeah,
the same people,
and they are wielding AK-47s.
Very honorable.
In modern-day security, you are better off even holding a pistol, which you can easily reach out to and engage. But holding that whole thing, but there could be a defense for it. I'm not a full-blown security person. So if you look at these things, I think nothing wrong has been done. I am fully aware of some conversations that happened over there. I've forgotten the name suddenly. The manager of the place, when we met him, how he made us know that a certain Henry was the only contact that can talk about the Chinese because he was the liaison between the Chinese and Wontumi. This he mentioned clearly. And other people. So when Wontumi, for instance, is saying that he's not doing illegal money, okay, one, he's aware that he has not got all the full permits to carry out a mining enterprise. That one already is an illegality. He is fully aware that if he has been given that lease for that area, any activity on that land, if he has not reported it, it is considered that he has condoned that.
You see, not to cut you off, but I think let's be aware that some of these things, in terms of license to exploit and all of these things, not to disrespect Wontumi, but his lawyers can answer better. Right. Okay. So
I agree. So when he is being invited,
I think they've issued a statement. The company has issued a statement.
When he's earlier on, there was a statement when the minister announced the revocation of the license.
Okay. So it's not a current statement.
No, I haven't seen a new statement.
No, I don't think there's.
I don't know if you have.
So I think that what is rather going on is the leadership of the NPP inciting their people to seek relevance in order for them to be.
Wontumi even went to a style of saying that if this is how Mahama was going to go, there's going to be a coup.
I haven't heard
Don't
that.
be surprised.
I haven't heard that.
You
Yes,
see,
I have heard it.
it has come to an extent where a lot of your people are becoming so known notoriously for reckless commentary, which is not the best. I have said that if I tell you what you are saying is silly, I'm not insulting you, but I'm describing to you what you have said in context to be silly. Rather, that will be seen as being harsh and all that. But you see, so when I saw, look, if they want the best advice from me, I can give the NPP. Maybe they should change their entire leadership. Justin Kodua has not helped them as a general secretary. Their chairman was nowhere to be found to be. Look at the entire leadership of the NPP. Let me be frank with you. I'm equally also a deputy national organizer of the NDC. And boldly let me say that. Which of the NPP executives can you compare to the NDC executives? I am being factual. No, just mention Wontumi. Will you compare the general secretary to Fifi Kwete? Will you compare their chairman to our national chairman? I am not demeaning them, but I'm saying that this is, let's assume it's a clash of titles. But will they stand when you make mention of the NDC national executives? None.
I think you're being unfair to.
I'm glad to listen.
But I'll listen to you, and then
you
give me a chance to.
So the problem is that the NPP should realize that their leadership, which misled them into this embarrassing defeat, are the same people trying to turn around, find an avenue to seek relevance that, hey, we are the ones to champion the fight for the 2028 elections. Please retain us so that we'll bring you power.
You couldn't do their homework now. They know what.
No. Honorable says it's a moral
What homework? And then you see, so it is so sad. They need to look at that. They must listen to them carefully. They still have power. At the time they need to get to the polls, they should change all these people if they truly want to be seen as a serious political party.
Well, thank you. Honorable, 30 seconds to respond to that.
Yeah, I think that in all fairness, we have a leadership crisis of some sort. I'll admit to that. Yeah. But I really think that it's a bit unfair to, as it is, say that none of our executives compared to the NDC executives.
Can you compare? Can you do the comparative analysis?
Okay, so for me, right now, since we are not in power, Afenyo Markins is at par with.
No, he says party leadership.
Afenyo Markins is the minority leader.
But have you seen
executive?
No. Listen. I said since we are not in power, the relevant conduit for us in government is a minority leader.
But then there's
and mind you, no, please. Let me state this categorically here on TV. My discussions with Afenyo Markin when he became leader, I told him that, leader, should we lose the election, you be literally the most powerful leader in the party.
So we take that he's the de facto leader of the party.
I mean, listen, we can't speak to government unless through Afenyo Markin now. Right. And our relevance in this country today is not our flag bearer. It is not the party chairman.
In fact, you don't have a flag bearer.
You don't have a flag bearer.
No, I mean,
yeah.
Please, don't let me have an issue. Yes.
Oh, so, really? That thing still exists?
No,
you have an issue for saying you don't have a flag bearer?
You get where I'm coming from.
Oh.
So my key point here is that I'll beg to differ from him in the sense that, with all due respect, the MPP in opposition, our conduit for communication with government is the minority leader. And I think that Afenyo Markin has conducted himself well. He's no less of a man compared to Ayariga, who I also respect dearly. Too bad he can't go to Boku these days. But as it stands, I cannot say on this fantastic platform of yours that I'll leave here admitting that my minority leader is a lesser person than Mahama Ayariga.
I'm not sure that was what I said.
I have
executives party.
So as it stands now, listen, admittedly, in terms of...
Why are you running away from this?
In terms of... Run away from what?
From leadership.
So listen.
And you had gone to parliament.
Personally, no, that's why I'm saying that whilst we are in opposition, the people that matter is what I'm talking about.
No, but not always.
And let me add that, listen, I'm of the school of thought, and I've always said this, that our parliamentary experience, the weightiness of it, from the NDC compared to the MPP, we are not at par. I mean, most of the NDC executives have had parliamentary and, as it is, even ministerial appointments before. And, you know, fine.
So the experience is
Somebody can also make an argument that the MPP gave new entrants an opportunity. And if you're in a party that gives the young an opportunity, that one too can be a different argument.
And they failed.
You understand?
And they failed.
Based on the election results, we failed miserably. I mean, I won't mince my words about that. And I'll be the first to admit that in that regard, in terms of parliamentary experience, in terms of administrative experience, I can admit that, you know, but acumen, competence, that one, you know, an older lawyer and a newer lawyer doesn't necessarily mean that the older is much more apt.
Do you think there should be change?
100%. I believe in the Korean style. I mean, if we're in Korea, most of them should have committed suicide already.
very well.
You know, I mean,
That's a very strong statement.
oh no, I mean,
we had so much
I
to
mean,
talk about today. Unfortunately,
I thought we were going to talk about the Chief Justice, the CJ's matter. Give us 1 minute.
We've run out of time. It's
1 minute.
Producer, 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute.
30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30
Tell you,
seconds.
I think that the CJ is compounding her woes. Do you understand? And she could easily have gone in for some, you know, older lawyer somewhere. Are equal to solid guy, diplomatic, legal language, and so on.
Are you doubting the competence of Godfrey Dame?
Godfrey Dame has been part of this whole problem.
How?
Wasn't
And
not the one?
Thaddeus is not bad.
Wasn't not the one who was heard on
Japa
phone
issue.
in the Japa issue,
Very well,
coaching.
very well. Land
I mean,
for me,
so
land for
many other things. Transfer of judges in the middle of a case. Supreme Court judges being dissolved
Larry, land.
under the auspices of, you know, the same CJ.
Dogbe, land.
Under the, you know, the auspices of the same CJ that he is representing.
Now, very well.
It's compounding the issue.
Very well.
And the
I
choice of
think
words,
that- I
he's
think
fighting
that-
his own battle rather than fighting for the
For the
Chief
CJ.
Justice.
I think that
Thank you, Larry.
there's now political coloration of this issue, and I'm not entirely happy about that. Chachuchikata, Thaddeus are all colored as NDC, and Godfrey Odame, I can agree, MPP. So
So
the
change the
political.
style. Change the style. Change the
No,
style.
I mean, listen, it goes both ways. The political coloration is a whole different thing, even making the case now blow up into more of a political issue, more so than
Very well.
substance.
Very well. Thank you. Elikem, you have the final
I
say.
don't know why the chief from. How do we even address the suspended? The suspended.
Yeah.
You want to make a formal?
Well, I'm just lost for the right words.
Right.
I don't know why the suspended Chief Justice finds it so difficult to realize that she's in the hole and digging further. And to be frank with you, Godfrey Dame is a down. I'm sorry, but I don't know the right word. But I think I want to be careful.
Be charitable.
Godfrey Dame is now down there. So he's trying to seek some relevance to find a way to prove himself. And so
That's
whatever.
everybody is seeking
No,
relevance.
no, it is the truth. You see, what did we not hear?
Except
What?
you.
Look,
Well, yeah.
look.
You
To
got some
conclude,
recommendation.
it's because he's. I told you he's clean, and so they will
Very
not.
well.
You see, how would you take an attorney general who was recorded on tape, coaching somebody on what to say,
And the
all of
petition
that?
against
That
him.
is integrity.
It's an allegation.
And come on, you see, so he's fighting for his own self and his relevance.
Gentlemen,
But,
thank you so
it's
much.
outside.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We'll find time to do this again. This has been the news review segment here on Breakfast Daily. Thank you, Elikem. Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Larry. Yeah, we'll find some more time. We'll find some more time. Stay with us here on Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back.